Mr. Mnuchin, thank you so much for your service. We're all grateful that you've taken the job that you have. Are you aware that we collect in revenue roughly 18% of our gross domestic product?
Yes, Chairman Hatch made that comment at the beginning.
And are you also aware that we spend a little over 21% of our gross domestic product?
Yes.
And so what you've presented is a budget that, and I'm saying this so the Tea Party folks in America can hear it, that you're presenting a budget that cuts more taxes, so low, that we're now going to be lower than the 18%, particularly with the economic growth that you've talked about, be lower than 18%, and at the same time a budget that actually spends more money. We're cutting taxes and we're spending more money. Is that not correct?
Again, the budget doesn't model in our tax changes because we didn't have them ready.
Are you not cutting taxes in your budget?
We are cutting taxes.
Thank you. So the distinction or the difference between the 18% that we're collecting in revenue of GDP and the more than 21% that we're spending in this government in GDP. All the promises have been made to the Tea Party and balance the budget and all the rest are broken in this budget because we're going to collect less in taxes and we're going to spend more money. Isn't that correct?
I don't think that's correct over the 10-year period of time.
Well, over the 10-year period of time, one way you deal with that is by cutting domestic spending, not military, not defense, but domestic spending by 40%. That's the proposal that you've made. Isn't that correct?
The president's priority is to grow the military.
We understand the president wants to grow the military.
Offset that.
He wants to grow the military. He wants to cut taxes. He said he won't touch Medicare. By the way, everybody, Tea Party people, listen to this. For every Medicare dollar you pay in, $3 are taken out. So we're going to continue to have a deficit in Medicare. We're going to have a deficit in the government. We're going to spend more in military spending. We're going to tax rich people less, and we're going to cut domestic discretionary spending by 40%. That's the plan. That's our plan. While the front page of the New York Times has tunnels that China is building through 7 different countries in Asia, our plan is that we're going to cut our domestic discretionary spending by 40%. That's your plan, right? That's what the president told people in Ohio and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, that he's going to cut that domestic discretionary spending by 40% so he can finance tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans.
That's not the case at all. As I've said before, the tax reform, and it's not just tax cuts, it'll be tax reform, will pay for itself, and when we have the details, we're more than happy to go through
I would love to go through
Again, we're just not prepared today to go through the details.
Well, let me ask you a question about that, because you said you weren't prepared to talk about details, and you're not, and we know you've put out a tax proposal, and I accept the fact that things will be modified and changed in the Congress, and I appreciate that. But will you say today that the Trump administration will not accept the tax reform bill that cuts taxes on average for high-income taxpayers?
Again, what I've said is...
Go ahead.
I've said is our priority is about a middle-income tax cut and to lower the top tax rate and offset it with a reduction of...
Will you tell the American people today that your administration, because at the end of the day, you get to sign a bill or veto a bill, your administration will not accept a tax reform bill from the Congress that cuts taxes on average for high-income taxpayers?
Again, I had some of these questions earlier, and I'll repeat that.
You didn't answer them earlier. I'm asking you to answer them.
What I've said is we are working very closely with the House and the Senate on an overall tax reform package. We're taking in lots of input, and when we have the details, we are happy to go through them with you. Our objective is to create economic growth, to make business taxes.
Let me ask it this way,
Mr. create a middle-income tax
Mr. Secretary, will the president veto a bill, a tax reform bill, that cuts taxes on average for high-income taxpayers that violates the Mnuchin rule?
Again, the president will look at the overall package that's been.
I just hope, Mr. Chairman, I hope the people that voted for this person are listening to these answers. The last question I would ask, and I know I'm out of time because Senator McCaskill was so kind, I just want to ask one question about Medicaid, so two questions, I guess. The health care bill that you have endorsed and the president has endorsed, it's not a health care bill in my view, but the bill that's passed the House cuts Medicare by roughly $850 billion. This budget seems to propose, is it another $600 billion in Medicaid cuts? I mean, are we up to $1.4 trillion in Medicaid cuts?
I don't have the numbers in front of me.
Those are the numbers as I understand them. That's a cut to Medicaid of over 25%. In my state, 50% of the people are children. So I hear people, politicians, talk about go to work. They need to go to work. Children, are the children supposed to go to work? Are the people in nursing homes supposed to go to work? Are the people that are already working at a wage that won't allow them to have private insurance supposed to go to work? Where's the quarter of Medicaid? Who's going to cover these people?
As much as I share Senator Bennett's concerns, this has got to be the last response. Then Senator Thune, Senator McCaskill.
I apologize.
Did you want to respond, Mr. Secretary?
We are slowing the rate of Medicaid, and I can assure you that children will be taken care of.